No, that's not what I was going to say.
The Year of the Phoenix is coming, and with it, the new Hearthstone expansion, Ashes of Outland. I'm also happy to announce that I'm going to be doing a giveaway for you guys. Blizzard gave me a bunch of Ashes of Outland standard pre-purchase bundles, which are 55 Ashes of Outland card packs. So if you comment with your Twitter handle, and if you're following me on Twitter, @TrumpSC, then I'm going to do a random drawing of a comment here. If you get drawn, I will message you one of those codes. And we're giving away 7 Ashes of Outland standard pre-purchase bundle packs. So let's take a look at the cards. We'll start with the primes. There's going to be a cycle of primes. Every single class is going to have one legendary, which has an initial minion, legendary minion, which is like, it's okay. But then, when it dies, you shuffle the prime version of it, and the prime is mega awesome. Primes in general will push the game in a bit more of a control direction, because naturally, if you need to draw the second prime version of the normal card, you want the game to go a little bit longer. So you're going to be building a deck that intends for the game to be a little bit longer. You know, speaking of Prime, if you've got Amazon Prime, you should go to my Twitch, twitch.tv/, and drop me a free subscribe. Leave that in, Jens. Leave that in. I want my money. Kargath Bladefist. 4 mana 4/4 rush. Death Rattle, shuffle Kargath Prime into your deck. I'll start off by saying, with the primes, for the most part, if you do not get the prime back, then the original card isn't that good. That said, it isn't that bad. For 4 mana, you could just play Restless Mummy, which is a much superior 4 mana 4/4 rush versus 4 mana 3/2 Reborn rush. The Restless Mummy will win that, but your payoff for running Kargath Bladefist is if you do draw the second version, it's an 8 mana 10/10 rush, which will pretty much guarantee that you kill a minion with it, and then you'll gain 10 armor. So 8 mana 10/10 rush, gaining 10 armor, maybe more, is pretty insane. Is that enough of a benefit that you'll run Kargath in your probably control warrior? Maybe in your singleton warrior? I think a lot of these primes are going to be very good for Highlander type decks because they're just generally good cards. Worth mentioning is that Town Crier is sadly rotating out, so you can't just play Kargath Bladefist and then have that shuffle in Kargath Prime and then play Town Crier and fetch it. But hey, in Wild, I guess. Lady Vosh is the Shaman Prime. 3 mana 4/3 spell damage +1. A Death Rattle, shuffle Vosh Prime into your deck. So that's the commonality between all of the primes. It's like, for the cost, they're generally okay. They're about vanilla level. But when you get the prime of Vosh, that's a great card. 7 mana, 5/4, spell damage +1. Battlecry, draw 3 spells, reduce their cost by 3. So not only is it draw 3, it's tutoring for spells. And not only is it tutoring for spells, it reduces the cost by 3. This one I could see in maybe even a mid-range Shaman deck or even a control Shaman deck. With the mid-range version, you could be trying to fish out the burn at the end, so you can go Lava Burst after you're playing your Vosh Prime if you get really lucky, and then you do a bunch of damage. Or maybe you tutor up the big AoE cards, and then maybe you have enough mana to still play them. Anything that costs 6 or less, if you have 10 mana, you could play it with Vosh. And then we have the Druid Prime. Arc, Spore, Mishfin. 3 mana 3/4 taunt, Death Rattle, shuffle Mishfin Prime into your deck. So that's one of the better statted vanilla cards. 3 mana 3/4 taunt, cool. But more than that, the prime version of this is a monster. 10 mana 9/9 taunt, and then choose one. You get to summon a 9/9 fungal giant with taunt or rush. So it's an 18/18 taunt and 2 minions, or it's a fast guy and a taunt guy. So that guy has a big impact the turn he comes in. I could see this card in any Druid deck that drew a bunch of cards, because you'll get to the late game, you'll play your Mishfin Prime, and then it's just going to be a big back-breaking card that is very difficult for your opponent to deal with, and easy for you to stay alive with, because that's 18/18 worth of taunt in one card. So those are the primes revealed so far. Looks like a cool mechanic, just overall good legendaries, good cards. And also, with Silence becoming less common because Spellbreaker is rotating into Hall of Fame, the Death Rattle of these is going to go off and you'll get your value much more often. Here's a card that features the other main mechanic of the set, dormant and imprisoned demons. Demons which were imprisoned, you can play them, they're really powerful, but just wait 2 turns and then they'll appear. Usually with some sort of when this awakens, it does something moment, so that they're not too slow. These cards are generally going to be very overstated for the cost. The risk is that if you top deck them, maybe you won't survive 2 turns until they come into play and save you. 3 mana 4/5 demon. Dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. So that card looks insane to me. First of all, 3 mana 4/5. Second of all, 3 mana 4/5 with a huge benefit. So Consecration costs 4 mana, Yeti costs 4 mana. Combining the two, that would usually cost 9 mana because of the theory of combining cards equals you have to pay more mana for it since it's 2 cards in 1. So why pay 9 mana when you can just pay 3 mana? Worth mentioning is that silence doesn't work for getting rid of your dormant things. Something dormant is non-interactable with on the board. So yes, the card is really slow, but I find it cool that it rewards people for planning, and this also pushes people towards slower decks because the card effect is really strong. Or maybe this card makes people play really fast decks so that they kill these guys before they get their powerful dormant effects. We've got Fungal Fortunes for Druid. 2 mana, draw 3 cards, discard any minions drawn. This card looks like it wants to push a Spell Druid with very few minions. We're going to see if Spell Druid gets more support, but I doubt that it's going to be strong enough to work in the first set of it. I think there probably aren't that many good spells. But it is worth mentioning that if you just draw 2 cards with it, it's pretty good. Hunter has Scavenger's Ingenuity. Draw a beast, give it +3/+3. This is a further push on the Beast Hunter deck that last expansion's adventure gave Fresh Scent, a really good card for Beast Hunters. This card, 2 mana for +3/+3. That's pretty sweet. And it's not even a negative card advantage. You actually stay neutral on it. So maybe we've got a Hunter Beast deck in the making here. You can imagine that if you played this and you actually drew a 3-cost beast and you played it on turn 3, even if it's the average stat of like 3-4, playing a 6-7 on turn 3 is quite a monster. Rogue gets secrets again with Ambush. 2 mana secret after your opponent plays a minion. Summon a 2/3 ambusher with Poisonous. Well, that's just about one of the easiest secret fulfillment conditions I've ever seen. So the card could be read as almost a 2 mana 2/3 poison. So the question is a 2 mana 2/3 Poisonous good enough? And the answer may surprise you, maybe not. And it's just a 1 mana discount on Emperor Cobra. If it were just that, it might be good enough, but added with the idea, like maybe your opponent isn't going to play a minion immediately, maybe Ambush isn't good enough. I think what's really going to depend is going to be the other secrets that Rogue will get, because presumably they won't have only this one, and whether or not there's going to be some secret lovers for Rogue. And it has already been said, apparently, in the reveal stream, that they will be adding some secret synergy. Warlock gets the Dark Portal. 4 mana, draw a minion. If you have at least 8 cards in hand, it costs 5 less. This is a really interesting build around, and it is also like one of the big focuses of the Burning Legion. I can see like exactly what type of deck would play it. It's not a surprise. It's a handlock deck. You'll tap, and then you'll tap, and you'll play the Dark Portal on 4. And then maybe on turn 5, you'll play something insane. So that's the idea. Will the meta be slow enough for you to be able to pull that off? We'll see. Can you build a deck with only a few really big cards in your deck? Because you do not want to draw a low-cost minion with this. They're really making cheating hard. You have to have 8 cards in your hand. It's tough. Bulwark of Azeroth. It's a warrior weapon. 3 mana 1/4. Whenever your hero would take damage, this loses 1 durability instead. That could block a lot of damage. If your opponent's a combo deck, you just set up the Bulwark and then they cry. On the other hand, if your opponent is just a small swarm deck, then they're gonna hit you for 1/4 times and then you'll cry that you played 3 mana to save 4 health. So Bulwark of Azeroth is a tough one to evaluate because it's somewhere between gain 4 health and it's between like you can't possibly lose this game. In reality, I think I value it around somewhere like gain 8 health, which isn't that great for a 3 mana card. So my bet's on meme, rather than like insane awesome tech, but maybe. On the neutral front, we've got terranagora Fiend. 3 mana 3/4, Battle Cry, destroy all friendly minions, Death Rattle, resummon them with +1/+1. Naturally, this fits into a very precise type of deck, one with Death Rattle or Reborn type things. You want them to die, and then you want them to come back, and then they can die again for another benefit. This is neutral, so there are a lot of chances for a number of decks to slot terranagora Fiend in here. Finally, last but not least, it's Kaelthas Sunstrider. 6 mana 4/7. Every third spell you cast each turn costs 0. If you log in right now, you are getting a Kaelthas Sunstrider, so they're releasing this one a little bit early for a bit of spice, so you can possibly do some insanely broken things with it before 3 of the sets rotate out. So that's a really cool effect. I'm sure they tested a bunch of stuff, but naturally what you want to do in order to break Kaelthas Sunstrider is you play him, and then you play a few cheap spells, and then you play a really big expensive spell. This card's gonna be out in the meta for a bit. People are gonna be experimenting with cool stuff to break it. We'll see if someone actually manages to do so. Don't let your dreams be memes. Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt. Kael'thas, Eye of the Storm. That actually sounds terrible. So maybe keep that as a meme. So there's your first look at the Ashes of Outland cards. All the Demon Hunter cards covered in the other video. And this particular reveal season is going to be extremely fast and furious, with the card reveals beginning immediately 3 weeks until the expansion releases. And again, if you want a chance to win some Ashes of Outland standard pre-purchase bundles, comment with your Twitter handle and make sure to be following me so that I can message you if you should win the random drawing.